Welcome everyone to Prop It Up. It is the big Super Bowl Propies edition. We're going to go over all the Super Bowl props as well as give out our NFL season awards. Joining me, as has been all season, Andrew McInnis and Matt Josephs, and we are just going to jump right in it. We got a list of things to get to. I want to go to the guys right now and just go over what strategy we're on. It's Friday before the Super Bowl weekend. Do we have our props locked in? And then we're just going to go ahead and give out a prop. So, Matt, I'm coming to you first. Strategy as we sit on Friday, and give us a prop.
So on Friday right now, I've got, for my all access package, I got 5 props up that I like, that I was afraid that some of the numbers would move. There are some unders that I have targeted that I'm waiting to put up on Sunday because, as I said all along, overs you take as early as possible. Unders you wait and let all the public come in. And I'm just working on my T-shirts for the Playoff Lenny fan club because I got my Leonard Fournette to score a touchdown prop. I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a huge game. I even think there's a chance he scores 2 touchdowns. I would even sprinkle a little on him to be the MVP. I think the Bucs win, and I think Leonard Fournette's the reason why.
Wow, Leonard Fournette is MVP. Words I never thought I would hear. Andrew, let's go to you first. What's your strategy here on this Super Bowl Friday? And give us a prop.
Yeah, that's hilarious there from Matt after we spoke about the last time on our show. We were pretty much saying I thought it was quarterbacks were the lock here, and we hate using that word, the lock. And he goes ahead and throws out Leonard Fournette to get the MVP. So love to hear it. Look, I think it's going to be a very competitive game, and Matt talks about consistently each week. He's done a great job of bringing up the fact that you want to keep the unders for the kind of the last minute and get those overs in early. For me, I've kind of taken the approach of just not really pick and choose when I'm giving them out. Just make sure I'm studying and getting ready and preparing to give out my plays at the right time. And that's kind of what I've done. So I've taken a route that I haven't done too often on the year, really, Andy, but I'm going to go with the Leonard Fournette rushing plus receiving. That's one that I really like as well. And, we're going to get into a bunch more, but there's so many opportunities and so many spots here. I look forward to getting into them.
Friday, I have a lot of props uploaded, and there was one that I already did take under because I thought the number would move. It has stayed the same. I think it's going to be a close game. My biggest worry is the offensive line for the Chiefs. I think that's by far the biggest concern for any unit in this game, and that leads to one of my plays, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, under 49.5 yards rushing and receiving. He had the big injury. I thought it was season ending. I thought he was done. He comes back against the Bills, rushes 6 times for 7 yards, catches 1 pass for 0 yards. The Chiefs are now adding Darrell Williams, Le'Veon Bell, Patrick Mahomes is running, and they're going against one of the league's best rush defenses. Eric Fisher is out on the O-line. Chiefs have shown they're just going to go with Mahomes to dictate the offense, and it's just not going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's gone under this total in 3 out of 4 games. I expect it to be 4 out of 5 after Sunday. Andrew, I'm going to come back to you real quick. I want to talk about the Chiefs offense and the Tampa Bay defense. This is a matchup on the side of the ball. You see any distinct advantages for either way, the defense or the offense, Chiefs and Tampa Bay?
Well, I think a lot of people are expecting to see a lot of pass rush coming all over. It's coming towards Patrick Mahomes and putting him under duress and putting him, making him leave the pocket. So I would look towards a Patrick Mahomes rushing prop, but I think the fact is he's comfortable outside the pocket. So, I really do believe that as far as this game goes as a whole, this isn't exactly answering your question, Andy, but I think that in this particular Super Bowl, you can make a lot of money on those extra guys. The guys you might not see having their totals for receiving yards, in the 60s or 70s or 80s. A guy in the names of Scotty Miller. I know Matt has made some money on him. He is someone that's kind of down there in the rankings, but I feel like he'll be someone that kind of slips in the cracks a little bit. So I'm looking at that. I think that pace will be one thing as well. I feel like Tampa will try and play a little bit slower, establish the ground game, whereas KC will come out with a bang and get that deep ball established. So if you're looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're looking at some of the dump offs. You're looking at a couple more rushing props, I would say, and reception props. If you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, I'd say you're looking at the receiving yard props and the touchdowns and the longest throw and that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I'm looking at here for this game.
Matt, talk to me about Chiefs offense, Tampa Bay defense.
I will answer your question there, Andy. I am one of the unders I did actually lock in already was under 2.5 receptions for Darrell Williams. He's only gone over this number 3 times this season with Le'Veon Bell in the backfield and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It won't necessarily be a 33-33-33 split, but you're asking for in Darrell Williams' snaps that he's going to get 3 receptions. He could. Obviously, he's gone over a couple times. The other thing that's been a staple in my repertoire, and I already locked it in, over 26.5 receiving yards for the longest reception for Tyreek Hill. He's a guy that's just going to break it. He's gone over in 5 of his last 7, 10 times overall. He did it 3 times against Tampa in their regular season matchup, and the Buccaneers have allowed at least 24 receptions of this length this season. So it's been almost an automatic here for me to take the over for Tyreek Hill's longest reception. He will break one even if he doesn't score.
Agreed completely. I like Hill. I like Hill to go over. I also think Mahomes getting this extra week is going to be incredible. And with the pressure, I see him rolling out a lot. I see a lot of passes and a lot of runs. So I don't see a lot of runs between the tackles with Bell and Williams and Edwards-Helaire, but I see Patrick Mahomes getting loose for a few. I would look at taking Patrick Mahomes over longest rush. Let's flip it here. Matt, come right back to you. The Bucs offense versus the Kansas City defense. Same thing. What do you see advantage-wise?
So it's a prop I hit 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to go right back to it. Rob Gronkowski, first reception over 7.5 yards. You got to be careful. Make sure to shop around. There's 8.5, there's 9.5, there's 7.5. So this is why you also have to have multiple books to take advantage of something like this. But Gronk has 6 receptions his last 5 games. Those receptions for 29, 14, 18, 11, 33, and 25 yards. He's gone over this number in 4 of his last 5 games. The 5th game, he didn't have any receptions, so I'm assuming most books will give you your money back for that. And if you go to the regular season meeting, 6 receptions against Kansas City, 4 of those went over this number. So I think if Gronk, who's blocking a lot more in the run game, does get involved, it'll be down the field. So over 7.5, I'd look at 8.5, and then I just back down the unit size if you find a higher number, and 9.5 as high as I would go.
Andrew, Bucs offense, Kansas City defense.
Well, now I will actually answer your question correctly because I feel like I was definitely confused with the first part. So again, my fault. But Matt singled out one there, and I will just go back to what I said at the start of the show when I was wrongfully mentioning the prop, Leonard Fournette, rushing plus receiving. This is a prop that I wasn't really betting too much during the season. The clients barely got any of the rushing and receiving combo plays. But I really do think pace will be a big thing. If it's up to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they will have a solid, decent tempo to the game, but they won't be constantly throwing it deep. I know the coaching's scared to go that way, but I feel like they want to establish, just the check downs and keeping the game slow and keeping the ball out of Mahomes' hand. So one that I really do like here is Leonard Fournette over 78.5 rushing and receiving. And also, look, I said it before, but I think it really, really factors in for Tampa Bay guys and not as much for the Kansas City Chiefs. I would look for the secondary guys here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not just, your Mike Evans of the world. I would look for the Scotty Millers. I would look for the guys down the lineup, just the top guys here.
All right. I like Mike Evans to score a touchdown for the Bucs offense. I feel like he's becoming their inside the 5-yard line target. He scored 2 last time against these guys, and he scored 2 in the playoffs already. So I just think they're going to struggle to slow down Mike Evans on those jump balls and short yardage. So let's talk some miscellaneous props. As Matt calls this, AKA, will you bet on halftime or things the broadcast booth says or crap like that? So, Matt, do you have anything for crap like this?
Well, it's funny because there's a prop I actually thought we should have discussed here that I didn't. So I don't bet those because when I do the Super Bowl props, there's so many props that I want to find the ones I can find an edge for. I don't know what Tony Romo is going to do. I don't know what Jim Nantz is going to do. I don't know what the Weeknd's going to do. I don't know what the national anthem's going to be. So those are the props I kind of stay away from. Real quick, can we do a discussion real quick on the jersey number for the first touchdown? Because usually, and this is something we wanted to talk about last week and we didn't. This, with the teams that we've got, you look, the Bucs wide receivers are 10, 12, 10, 13, and 14. which is usually not the numbers for the wide receivers. And you've got Tyreek Hill's 10, Sammy Watkins is 14, and Mecole Hardman 17. So it's almost like an inverse here. You've got the running backs and tight ends versus the wide receivers when it comes to jersey numbers for that first touchdown. So I thought it was interesting how it's usually the other way around.
Andrew, do you have anything for
actually, you know what? I was on a podcast earlier I was on a podcast earlier this week, and I discussed that. Matt, I love that you brought that up, man. This is one of those ones. I mean, with all of these, you should really be putting your research in, but this is one of those ones that just kind of correlates to anytime touchdown props, the shot in the dark on the first touchdown prop. Well, it's not really as much of a shot in the dark, but it's your own personal opinion. So I'd be right there with you, Matt, actually on the odd. It's funny because, you know, Matt, you're going down the list, right? You're looking at these players like, okay, that guy's odd, that guy's even, that guy's odd. And then you just kind of want to go with the majority. It's kind of like those boosts you see on websites where it's like, will the big 3 score? Will the big 5 score? And now it's kind of like, will this handful of odd numbered jerseys score? And so I would go with the odd. And I've got some, you know, a couple of interesting ones I'm looking at. And one's kind of a cross sport one, Andy. I've got to tip my hat to you, though, on WagerTalk today. You had some good ones. I was impressed. You really stretched your and Teddy had a pretty good response to you as well with the Jason Pierre-Paul one. If you get into that a little bit, that was hilarious. Maybe a little bit cruel on both you guys' part, but look, I don't like to bet things that I don't have an information on unless I'm just kind of you know, putting it for a small bet just for some purposes. But we're trying to make some money. So these type of bets, you know, got to be that guy to say don't go crazy on them. But there's been reports and seen from numerous sources, and this actually just came out like an hour ago. There were 3 straight national anthem rehearsals timed at 2:13, 2:15, and 2:16, and the over/under prop on the offshore markets is 2 minutes. So, you know, take what you will with that, but I don't think people are just making this up. I mean, there's been countless reports that this has gone not just seconds over, but a long time over. It's a duet. There's country singing involved. So that's one that I've looked at. One more that I kind of had, which was kind of interesting. Carmine and I did a video, was combining NHL props with Super Bowl props for Sunday. One I thought was pretty interesting. It was Vegas Golden Knights saves versus Scullers receiving yards. All right. Vegas Golden Knights averaged 21.4 saves per game. Miller receiving yards it was around like 13.5 to 15. I feel like 100% if your book offers this, you're grabbing Scotty Miller's receiving yards over the saves for the Vegas Golden Knights. They're not playing pretty tough competition, and this is kind of my niche. I know, Andy, you have a few with NASCAR as well.
Yeah, well, I found a very obscure one on the offshore. Jim Nantz to say Queen Latifah over one time is plus 110. She's starring in the show The Equalizer, which is going to air right after the Super Bowl. So they're pumping the show. He's going to say her name at least once in an ad read. If they do 2 ad reads, this prop is going to hit. So take Jim Nantz to say Queen Latifah over one time. Cross sports. What is this? Wolverhampton versus Leicester? What is that?
Leicester.
Andrew,
Just
do you
Leicester.
know? Okay. So they have penalties awarded in this game higher than Mahomes' interceptions. How many penalties do they call in soccer games?
I don't have the statistics for you, but penalties, like penalty shots.
No,
definitely
just
not
penalties.
One per game.
That's what I'm thinking. So, like, that's going to be higher than Mahomes' interceptions. And then the other weird one.
I'm guessing, Andy, those are 2 aggressive teams. Those have to be 2 aggressive teams. There's only way. That's the only way I could think about.
Okay, well, so the New York Knicks, 3-pointers made on February 7th, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire carries. The Knicks are averaging 9 made 3-pointers a game. They made 11 against the Bulls last game. I know you don't want to put your faith in the New York Knicks, but with Le'Veon Bell and Williams and Mahomes and all those issues, I kind of like the Knicks made 3-pointers more or over. And yes, I took will there be more NASCAR drivers that lead a lap in the Daytona 500, or will there be more first quarter points? And I took the NASCAR drivers for sure. So, Matt, do you have any cross sport props or anything?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I took one with Jimmy Butler when they played the Wizards a couple of days ago, and it's against the first half points. But there was one with Alex Ovechkin, number of points versus Patrick Mahomes touchdowns. I thought that was interesting. Ovechkin has had a couple of points usually against the Flyers. So it all depends. And this is where the cross sport comes in that if you have an expertise in a certain sport and you can use it and get your advantage there, I think you should certainly do so. There's some college basketball ones. Iowa is playing on Sunday. There's going to be a boatload of Iowa props, and we know how good they are. They score 75, 80 a night, and they get, usually give up 90 a night, it feels like. So you're going to see a lot of cross-board props with Iowa and Indiana, who are also playing on Sunday.
Nice. Good stuff. All right, before we get to the propsies, Andrew, anything else? Any other props you like?
There's all kinds of the hockey related ones. I could go down the list, Andy, but that's the thing. It's just so preference based. So I won't really dive too hard into it. Let's see. There's maybe one more that I had I thought was kind of interesting. Goals scored in Sunday's 7 NHL games. The Grand Salami should be about 40 to 41.5. Obviously, that number is not out yet. Doing the show here on Friday versus Mr. Antonio Brown's receiving yards, listed currently between 42.5, around in that ballpark. I looked at the Sunday games and I like unders in the NHL on Sunday. So I am going ahead and going over with Antonio Brown's receiving yards versus the amount of goals in the NHL 7 games on Sunday.
Nice. All right, good stuff. Okay, time to get to it. It's the propsies. It's the season NFL awards. Let's see. I got yay!
Matt wasn't even looking.
I'm
All
looking.
right, well,
I see.
I got the big one here. Here we go. Yay! All right, let's get to it. These are our favorite prop awards for the year. I'll start with my 3 favorite. I'm going with the Catch Me If You Can award. This goes to Travis Kelce. His receiving yards and receptions went over all year long. He was great. Next, I get the Running Man. This goes to Derrick Henry. They couldn't set this line high enough. His total was well over 65%. And then my personal favorite, the INT and Out Burger, the INT and Out Burger goes to Nick Foles. We had so much fun with him throwing to the other team. All right, we're moving on to Matt's first propsy. This is called the You Played a Prop on Who? And it goes to, who is this? Isaiah Coulter. Matt, explain.
Yes, Rhode Island rookie wide receiver Isaiah Coulter. It was week 13. I believe Brandon Cooks was out. I believe definitely Will Fuller was out because he was suspended. So I was looking at the Texans and I was reading some articles and they mentioned Isaiah Coulter. So I took over 1.5 receptions for him, and he had played a grand total of 6 snaps all season. Did not play a single snap that week, so it was a no play and no loss. But hey, Isaiah Coulter managed to make it to somebody's props list.
Up next, one shining moment goes to Scotty Miller. Explain Scotty Miller, one shining moment.
Yeah, week 12 on Pinnacle, his total was half a yard. Most likely because that was probably when Antonio Brown was there and Miller's not getting a ton of snaps. Well, he had a reception for 48 yards. I was arguably my easiest victory because it sailed over by 47.5 yards. So, Scotty Miller, that one's for you.
On one catch.
That's awesome, Matt. That's awesome.
It's a great one. And did I do that? Goes to Frank Gore. What did you do?
Come on, you got to do it in the Urkel. Did I do that? You got to do it in the Urkel voice. There you go. See, so we've talked about Frank Gore on the show for many, many, many weeks, and I hadn't taken any. So week 13, I'm like, this looks pretty good. I think it was the Dolphins game or it was the Patriots game, whatever it was, and it looked really good. The number was nice, and of course, he gets hurt after 2 yards. So I might have hurt everybody else who was already on the Frank Gore prop wagon. I'm sorry I derailed it.
All right, Andrew, we're going to you. You complete me. You completely goes to Josh Allen. So explain Josh Allen.
Well, for the record, I agree, and I am fully in favor and have cashed some tickets on the rest of these Propsy awards, but this is one that kind of stuck with me since I probably annoyed the hell out of these two guys listing completion stats every single week because I kind of fell in love with that category of prop. And this could definitely have, worked for the Chiefs or the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Chargers. But the Buffalo Bills, man, they love to pass the ball. Josh Allen loves to pass the ball. And you'd think for a team that was up in quite a bit of games, they'd probably get to the run a little bit. In the fourth quarter, they would start running the ball. Oh, no. This team just kept on passing the ball. No matter what their completions prop was, Josh Allen seemed to be there for me and cash that in week by week. So that's the award to me, or to Josh Allen from me. Not that he really needs it. He's going to have a great career, but the completions prop for Josh Allen.
All right, here we go. The finalists of the year. We have a runner-up and the winner. The runner-up was tough, but it ends up going to Young Hookoo, kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. Congratulations, Young Hoo.
I love the clap
go
from
ahead.
Matt. I love the clap.
Matt, how good was this guy for you?
I mean, I'm the one in the panel who mostly took a lot of kicker props, and then Andrew started doing it, and the Falcons just settled for a lot of field goals. Of course, he did miss one to lose a bet against the Chiefs, but for the rest of the year, he was just absolutely magical.
And you know what's the worst, Matt? People remember him more for that loss. People remember, like right now, the fresh thing in people's brain is that miss, not the extraordinary year he had. That sucks. I hate that.
Well, life of being a professional athlete. All right, here we go. The finalists, and I think we all agree, and everyone that's followed the show, they finally got an award this year, and they finally won big. The prop of the year goes to the New York Jets for their infamous first quarter over. It was about the only over you could take for the New York Jets. Matt, you discovered this one, and we all jumped on board. How did you find the New York Jets and the over first quarter prop?
It was 9 straight times. It was the first drive, about 8 of those, I believe, that the Jets came out and started well and scored points, whether it was a field goal. There were games where they only scored 3 points. It was all in the first quarter. 10 points, all in the first quarter. So you take a trend like that, and books did not adjust, and they were plus quite often. So we rode the New York Jets early, and thank you for that.
So great. So great. So, all right, there we go. That's the last, or the first of what should be many of the propsies. Hopefully we can do this a lot. Want to say a special thank you to the audience. You guys made this show possible. We couldn't have done it without you guys and all your support. So, Andrew, I'll go to you first. Tell us what you got this weekend. Obviously, we know Super Bowl, but what else you got going on?
Yeah, hockey has been outstanding right now. I started off pretty slow, Andy, and I was pretty transparent with that to the viewers and on Puck Time and on Twitter, because I was hoping and I knew that there would be a run to come right now. It's 19-9 is the run for me right now, with props included, with the 4% best bets hitting, with the 5% ones going well. That's over 44% net return ROI, just completely crushing the NHL right now. I have 2 coupon codes going up right now. Week of action right now is $69 using that coupon code week69, and a month of NHL using the coupon code NHL129 to get it for $129. Also, I know you can't wait for the UFC tomorrow, Andy. I have a 5% play on the UFC tomorrow. It's going to be an outstanding card. My first 5% play of February, and just can't wait to cash in this big ticket.
Awesome. Andrew, give us what you got this weekend. Or Matt, sorry.
Matt. There you go.
Matt.
I'm the non-Canadian in the panel. It's okay. I've got the Super Bowl package up, and as I said, there's 5 props in there. There'll be more as we get closer to Super Bowl Sunday on a 27-10 run in college basketball. I was down in the dumps about 2 weeks ago, had a terrible stretch, and we've bounced back nicely. 24-8 in my last 32 totals, so we're really doing good there. And got 2 promo codes here. If you want to try me out, $10 off anything is Matt10. And if you want to give my college basketball shot for 30 days, CBB69, as we try and extend our 27-10 run in the sport of college basketball.
Nice. That's awesome. I got NBA player props up. We're running it all year long. $59 for 7 days. Nonstop NBA props. So that's just, there's no promo code. That's just on my profile page on WagerTalk.com. So go there and you'll get 7 days for $59. So, all right, we got to get out of here. The weekend is officially started. Super Bowl is this Sunday. I can't believe the NFL season's coming to an end. Thank God props last all year long. So thanks everyone for joining us on Prop It Up. We'll see you next time.